Alright, let's just run through these last few examples just to finish this one up. So again, to find the equation of a line, you need two things. You need the slope and you need a point. So for this one here, you're given the graph. Let's try and find out the slope first. So to find out the slope from a graph, what you want to first find is two clearly indicated points that are on the graph. So for me, for example, if I look on this grid here, it looks that this point is very, very clearly going through a point I can easily read. And maybe you can say this one is as well. You can probably choose any other points you want, but these are the two I'm going to choose. And what we want to find is the slope or the rise and the run between these 2 points. So if you look here, I'm just going to draw a little triangle between these 2 points. I can easily see my rise and my run. So going from left to right, as always when we're trying to figure out slope, you'll see that we're going down 2 and over 3. Okay, you got to watch the scale on the grid to make sure that each square represents 1, like it does in this case, so it doesn't make a big difference. But we're counting down 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. So our slope will be equal to negative 2 over 3. Okay, so now we need a point if we want to use point-slope form, a y-intercept if we want to do slope-intercept form. Now it just so happens on this graph the y-intercept is very clearly indicated right there. So we have a y-intercept of 5. So we can very easily make slope-intercept form y be equal to minus 2 over 3x plus 5. Okay. If you want to use point slope form, you absolutely could. I can show you a couple of examples of it. So if you want to use point slope form, let's say we wanted to use any nice point. Let's say we want to use this point right here. So the coordinates of this point are 6 for the x, 1 for the y. So you could also use point slope form would be x minus 6 plus 1. If I want to use this point, I could have another equivalent point slope form. This would be y equals negative 2 over 3. This point right here looks like 3, 3. So I'd have x minus 3 plus 3. And you get the idea. I could continue going on forever. Let's say I want to take one other point. I'll do one up here. So this is the point negative 6, 9. Okay, so just for the sake of completeness here, I'll have another one here. This will be y equals negative 2 over 3. And it'll be x plus 6 plus 9. So all of these four equations are perfectly equivalent. You use whatever one you find easier. Because the y-intercept's nice here, slope-intercept form is probably the easier way to go. If the y-intercept was not nice, though, your best bet would probably be to use point-slope form. Okay, let's take a look at another one here. So B is a little bit trickier. You have to remember a bit more from grade 9 here. It says our line that we want to find the equation of is perpendicular to the line y equals 3x minus 7, passing through the point negative 2, 8. So remember, we're looking for a slope and a point. Well, they've given us a point. We're told that it passes through the point negative 2, 8. We don't know anything about the slope, but we do know it's perpendicular to this line. Now, one thing you might remember from grade 9 is that if you're looking at a line here, so let's say we have the line y equals 2x plus 3. Let's say we take a line that's parallel to that. Well, a line that's parallel to it will never meet. They'll have the exact same steepness or the exact same slope. So here, if you look at the equation y equals 2x plus 7, you'll see they have the exact same slope, the slope of 2, and these are parallel. If you want lines that are perpendicular, like these two are, you can zoom in and see that there's going to be a right angle there. The slopes are negative reciprocals of each other, which means you take the slope, you flip it if it's a fraction. So 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1, flip becomes 1 over 2, and you change the sign. So 2 changes to negative 1 over 2. Doesn't matter what the y-intercept is, it's going to be different or the same, doesn't matter, but these two lines are going to be perpendicular to each other. So what this is telling us is if our line's perpendicular to y equals 3x minus 7, well, the slope of this line right here is 3. The slope of a line perpendicular to it, so I'll use a little perpendicular symbol there, like a little upside down capital T, will be negative 1 over 3. Okay, that will be the slope of our perpendicular line. So we have a slope, we have a point, we can use point-slope form. So remember the basic form of point-slope form is m x minus x1 plus y1. Okay, so your slope is going to be negative 1 over 3. x1 is negative 2, is the x value of that point, so x minus negative 2 is x plus 2, and then plus y1, which is 8. So in a couple lines there, you have the equation in point-slope form. If you were insistent on using slope-intercept form, what you would then have to do is you would start with slope-intercept form, mx plus b. And again, this is not necessary. This is if you really want to use slope-intercept form because you're used to using it. You could put in the slope that you know. And what you would do is you'd put in the values from the point -2 and 8 in for x and y. So we'd have -2 in for x, 8 in for y. We'd then have to solve the equation for b. Okay, and we could absolutely do that. Okay, we would have 8 over here. -1/3 times -2 is 2/3. Okay, and then you'd solve for b, subtract the 2/3 from both sides. So you'd have 8 minus 2/3, which you'd have to simplify. So you can either do the fraction subtraction or do it on your calculator, and that would give you 22 over 3. Okay, so then you'd have the slope-intercept form as being y equals -1 over 3x plus 22 over 3. So it takes a little bit more work to get the slope-intercept form, but you can get it if you want it. The other way, if you want to get slope-intercept form, the other thing you could do, and again, this is just an aside, it's not relevant to this question, but if you could also expand and simplify through these brackets up here. So if you want to do that, you'd have -1 over 3x, so -1 over 3 times x. -1 over 3 times 2 is -2 over 3. That plus 8 hangs around, and you'd simplify these right here, and you'd wind up with the exact same thing. So that's just another way of getting the slope-intercept form. Okay, and last but not least, we were passing through the points 3, 10, and -8, 1. So it's giving us 2 points. So in terms of needing a slope and a point to find the equation, they've definitely given us the point, but we need the slope. What are we going to do? Well, we have the 2 points. We can find the slope between them. So I'm going to calculate the slope first. So rise over run, I'm going to go 1 minus 10 over -8 minus 3. So that will give me -9 over -11, which, just to do some quick simplification, those negatives will cancel. I get a slope of 9 over 11. Okay, point slope form would be the quickest way of getting your equation. Let's say I want to use this point at 310. I'd have y equals 9 over 11 x minus 3 plus 10. Or if I wanted to use the second point given instead, I'd have y equals 9 over 11. It would be x plus 8 plus 1. Okay. And that's 2 ways using point slope form. If you want to use slope intercept form, you can follow the same method you did up here. And if you want to check your answer, I'm happy to take a look at it with you later, see if you're on the right track. Okay, so that's basically, in a nutshell, all the lines you did back in grade 9. Okay, so we're going to be moving forward from this into the course after this. So in terms of homework, there's some stuff in the textbook you can give a shot, and finish that review worksheet that I handed out on the second day of classes. Okay, so that's it, that's all, and good luck with the homework. Let me know if you have any questions. Cheers.